Tell you guys something. When devils do you wrong, and I already described spiritually what devils is. People that have the attributes of Satan, they do demonic stuff, play the victim, never take account of it, where it's family, friends, whoever, or whatever. I'm speaking in general. When people do certain stuff or whatever, I told you the reason why it goes on for so long is because not only is God letting the karma up, but I was just told that he also does it so that when he does punish them in a very bad way, especially if it's not death. Because most of the time, when I told you guys, when things go on for a very, very long time, and it's like you just seem like you're like, what's going on? You don't understand how these people are getting away with it. And I told you that they're not. Usually it's added up to their death. But if they don't get death or whatever, but the karma is real bad, whether it's prison, whether it's anything, whether it's prison, whether it's a fatal disease, whether it's a stroke, whether it's anything. They get hit by trying to cross the street and a car hits them or whatever. A stray bullet could just blow their brains out or whatever. You never know. What happens just in general, if it's not death and it's just something really, really bad, God lets them get away with that for so long, so when they do get their karma, all they can do is sit up there with regrets. All they can do is just remember what they did. All they can do is remember that God was telling me to stop and I didn't stop, so that they can't blame anybody. Because one thing I realized about narcs, remember I told you I come from parents that were narcs, the people in my and everybody that's a narc isn't as obvious. It's people that play the victim and project or whatever. Never take accountability for what they do. They're just the victim. And when you live like that, you're gonna continuously, when you live in a way where everybody else is always wrong, it don't matter what anybody says, you're always the victim, and you lie and you project and all the other stuff. What happens is that something has to happen to put you in your place, to let you know that you're not your own God. You have to follow certain laws down here or whatever. God is going to have to strategically teach you that you have to learn how to treat others in a certain way. Or just in general, when he does that, overall, he has to make you feel how other people feel, but times 10 or whatever, to let you know. Because some people are so arrogant and cocky that they just don't ever see their own wicked ways or whatever. Empaths me, if I do something and I know I'm wrong, I'm going to admit to it. I feel like it was justified, I'm not going to admit to it, and that's what it is. With narcissists, their thing is they don't give a fuck about who, what, when, where. They just innocent or whatever. But like I said before, with all that gang stalking and stuff like that, the only thing that happens, especially if you're speaking on it, but just in general, they know it's wrong, but especially if you're speaking on stop and this and that or whatever, and they've been given several warnings, it's like it has to add up so that when they do get prison time, and like I said, nobody is going to actually get prison time probably for gang stalking, actually. You never know. They could be riding and that's why I always tell people, when you're aiding and stuff like that against a person of God or somebody that didn't do anything to deserve it or whatever, you're doing certain things like that, people will lie on you, and it could be legally, and it could be prison for the rest of your life or whatever. And that's why I tell you, bullies and people who lie, they get prison time, and the karma doesn't stop there. They could get prison time, and then when they go to prison, I said that in the video before I did a long time ago, they can get raped in prison, gang rape. Just like they gang stalked, they can get gang raped in prison or whatever. So it's like it doesn't stop. If it's not prison, if it's not death, if it's not a fatal sickness or disease, if it's not a stroke, it could be somebody just randomly get their behind whooped or whatever, or their brains beat out. And that's why I said, people think in their mind that they can get away with stuff. Nobody's gonna jump me. Nobody hates me like that. You don't know when you do certain things against a divine person, and you know it's wrong, and you know you've been asked to stop. No excuse, no way around it, and you keep going. It's like you throwing up the middle finger to God and being like, F you. I don't care if this is your child or not. I don't care if I lied. I don't care if I know these rumors are false. I'm jealous of this person. I'm gonna do whatever the F I want. This person ain't nothing in my eyes, and I'm gonna do whatever the F I want. I'll sit outside and blow horns all day. I'll sit up there and take the views down, even though you called them to do something. F you, God. And even if you're not literally saying that out your mouth, that's what you're doing, because you know the true character of that person. You know what that person has been called to do, and you know who that person is. But it's like you sitting up there saying, F that, I don't give a damn, I'm making my own rules down here, and you don't make your own rules down here. Even though Satan runs this world, God created it, and he created you. So that's all I just want to say. I'm not really speaking to gang stalkers as a way to try to wake them up, because they're demons or whatever. That's why they do what they do, and they think it's funny. They're probably gonna laugh and put a porn link under this post. I already know they're gonna say some more demonic prayers to stop the views. And from what I heard, and this is a wild bit, it's people who are spiritual leaders doing stuff like that. And I've heard this way back and recently. And that's what I'm saying. I hope it ain't no spiritual leaders and nothing like that trying to stop my post and then sitting up there talking about God and stuff like that, because that's really demonic. If you don't agree with somebody or whatever, what they got to say, the Christian thing to do, if you're a Christian or whatever, then would be to just like not watch it or whatever. That doesn't even make any sense. There's no way. Even though I see these pastors as demonic and I expose them, I would never do no black magic to shut down the church and stuff, because we all have free will. When you try to take away someone's free will and stop this and stop that or whatever, literally, and you know that in your mind that you don't want to be exposed, they're just being called to expose certain things, and you take it upon yourself to do that, that's a punishment by death or whatever. I told you, one of the things that God detests the most, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to rush home, but one of the things that he detests the most is people who falsely use his name, people that do evil and say in God's name or whatever, because it's like, that's like me murdering somebody and saying God told me to murder them or whatever. It's like, come on, it's like, even if people see the truth or they know the truth, it's like you're lying on the Most High. So that's why I said people need to get a reality check and just realize the seriousness of coming against divine people. They'll never gang stalk anybody satanic. They'll never gang stalk anybody false. They'll never gang stalk somebody fake. It always got to be a person that God called that they're jealous of. In certain situations, people can get gang stalked because it's like they done something bad and that's their karma. Like you rally up people to gang stalk one person who was innocent. You're rallying up old enemies or whatever. And the spiritual world is rallying up old enemies of yours to come against you. Next thing you know, you could get robbed or beat up or whatever, or killed, murdered or whatever. And then that's why I would say you have to watch what you do when you have kids. And a divine person, we not finna come against you and do that. I don't even talk to nobody. I'm not finna call nobody up, rally nobody up. But when you have children or whatever, you have to really watch what you do, because your children get your karma too, because that's part of your bloodline. That's why when people get cursed or whatever, it don't matter who try to place a curse on my bloodline. God is, you can do whatever you want to show your character. God doesn't let that go through or whatever. When you do certain things like that, you curse your own bloodline or whatever. That's why you have to be really careful what you do when you have children or whatever, because you can curse your children. Your children can end up dead. And I'm not saying it in no cocky type of way. I'm just saying in a way like, if God cursed the bloodline of black people for what they did, their children, our children's children, bring up confusion and ignorance amongst black people or whatever, slavery. It's like that should let you know that he don't play when it comes to stuff like that. Children cannot be spared. In his eyes, it's kind of like, because it's like that's your bloodline or whatever, and your children have your traits. So it's kind of, that's why I always say you have to watch what you do. So I'm passing through this neighborhood. I'm gonna make this video a little bit later, but that's all I want to say for now.